Okay, look, I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. To me, this should have happened a long time ago. No disrespect to anyone ever inducted before them, but Ron and Pippa should have been the very first. Why Ron? Well, he's part Kevin Bacon and part Thomas Edison. Like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, everything can be tied back to Ron when it comes to education and advertising. Norm Gray, a 2015 inductee, was first hired by Ron to teach at Portfolio Center, the first ever portfolio ad school that Ron started. And later, Norm would co-found another school, the Creative Circus, with 2012 inductee Rob Lawton. 2017 inductee Diane Tench Cook, creator of the VCU Brand Center, was Ron's former student at the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. And Ron hooked her up with her first gig. So why is Ron part Thomas Edison? Well, 2 reasons. Here we go. Because 1, I'm pretty sure that man is about 175 years old. He told me to roast him, so it's fine. And 2, his original idea of using professional creatives as teachers has become the standard in both the ad schools and also four-year universities with portfolio programs. Maybe Ron didn't invent a light bulb, but he did invent many ways creatives learn how to have those light bulb moments in their head. And Pippa, let's talk about Pippa. Pippa has not just been Ron's +1 to this party. Besides taking Miami Ad School global, I have watched for years and years and years, way before advertising finally decided that diversity was cool. I watched Pippa personally do everything she could to make advertising less white. And look at that woman. She is the most whitest person ever. Can't believe it. Okay. But more than teaching us outside the classrooms, they just fucking cared about us, man. And not just me, their favorite, but every student out there. They genuinely loved us. And Glenn talked about love, and that's what they had. So to return the favor, I want to read a love letter to them from a few of us. I'm only going to address them. You guys can continue with your beverages and get drunk. You probably won't understand most of this, so. Okay. Dear Ron and Pippa, you didn't just open an ad school. You opened your hearts to us. A bunch of misfit toys. You made a home for us, and a home for all the doodles in our sketchbooks, all the short stories and poetry in our notebooks, and all the funny that made our family and friends laugh growing up. And we love you so much for that. Now, we didn't always love your rules. 100 ads by tomorrow, don't rely on stock photography, stop being clever and just be yourself. We didn't understand then, but we see the method to your madness now. And we cherish all the memories with you, going to your farm in Georgia, taking us deep sea fishing at 6 a.m., and making us feel better after an interview didn't go well, letting us cry in your office when we were unsure of ourselves, or making us cry in your office when you thought we needed a kick in the butt. And of course, there were the Sunday soccer games at Flamingo Park. You said you held them to teach us lessons, but the number 1 lesson we all learned, don't fuck with an old German man on the soccer field. Ron, you are the Michael Jordan of trash talking. I'm not sure if you remember this, but one game I played goalkeeper, and after scoring your 4th goal on me, you said, Donnell, I don't know if you know this or not, but you're supposed to stop the ball from going into the net. Regardless of any story, any memory, any lesson, it just comes down to this. You guys didn't just teach all of us. You both made us all feel like family. You both made us feel so loved. And we can only hope that we did the same for you. All right, let's play this video. 1 plus 1 isn't necessarily true.
Sometimes it's more like 20,000. We'll get to that. First, meet Pippa and Ron Seichrist. They're a creative team and they're in love. Together, they created Miami Ad School, the 6-time winner of Cannes School of the Year and the open door that's helped a generation of young creatives take over the world. At this point, Pippa and Ron's students have won more gold in awards than Pippa and Ron weigh.
That can't be true.
It is. We did the math. And all those awards are evidence of how quickly a little creativity can multiply. Back in 1987, Pippa met Ron when she was a student at Portfolio Center, the school he founded, the first portfolio school in the world. The day after Pippa graduated, Ron passed her a note.
When I realized that he was serious, I asked, "Can we have lunch first?"
So they got sushi. And it must have gone well because 35 years later, they're still a dynamic duo. At first, they had a design company that was doing well, but Pippa knew something was off.
Ron wasn't happy doing what we were doing, and I knew we needed to start another school.
So, they took a big leap. In 1993, they started an advertising and design school in Miami. They launched with just 6 students. A taxi driver, a flight attendant, an aspiring artist, a ballerina, and the 2 daughters of a creative director at Leo Burnett.
In short, it was a school for misfits, or young people with the wildest and the craziest ideas.
That meant student work that was like nowhere else on earth. Instructors were industry professionals, and the products they did were for real clients. All based on the principles of real practice, which meant students created work that both won huge awards and got global media attention while they were still in school.
Our motto was, you learn by doing.
That meant Pippa and Ron brought in guest instructors from all over the world to share new ideas with the students. And then they thought bigger.
Instead of just bringing the great thinkers to the students, we started sending the students to where the great thinkers are.
So Miami Ad School partnered with dozens of companies all over the world in a new concept that allowed each student to create their own unique educational odyssey. So they could study and intern in multiple cities all over the planet. And as a result, many of Pippa and Ron's connections, impressed by the students and the school concept, asked if they could start a Miami Ad School in their own city. And that single school that Pippa and Ron started grew into a global network of 15 schools around the world. Those schools were a hub for exploration and collaboration, and the site of a weekly Sunday soccer game. The rule was,
Everyone could play.
and that rule applied in the classroom as well. Ron and Pippa didn't want a school filled with people who looked just like them. They wanted a school that was filled with people of different backgrounds, experiences, and points of view. That's why they made it a mission to recruit those diverse voices. And as a result, among other things, helped to nearly triple the enrollment of students of color at MAD campuses around the world. And the results are a testament to the power of diversity and inclusion. For 30 years now, MAD grads have created some of the world's most innovative and exciting work. In total, more than 20,000 MAD graduates have created amazing ideas for companies all over the world. 20,000 misfits who found themselves in the home that Ron and Pippa made. And that's why 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. In this case, it equals 20,000, and hopefully, a whole lot more.
I waited a long time to say this. Ladies and gentlemen, I respectfully ask you all to please get your asses out of the seats. Put your hands together and be as loud as you can. And finally welcome the newest members to the Educators Hall of Fame, Ron and Pippa.
Wow, it's heavy.
This is scary. You sure you want to do this? Yes. Man, these are the big dogs out there.
They are.
Oh, God. Well, I'll try.
Okay.
I don't promise. I'll try.
It's such an honor to be included in the list of all of these great thinkers, people we have admired for so long. So it's an honor to be here, and it's really an honor to be here. And my parents are in the room, my biggest cheerleaders. But there's one more person who isn't here that deserves a huge thank you. And his name is Mr. Overton. He was a little man that wore a bow tie and owned a supermarket in Norfolk, Virginia, the town where Ron grew up. And without him, Miami Ad School would never have existed. As a kid, Ron loved school. He was the cartoonist. He even did caricatures of all the teachers and taped them up all over the walls of the school. He was the president of the student body, and he was asked to read his senior thesis in front of the entire student body. That's how remarkable of a writer he was. And his teachers loved him. One teacher and her husband took him to Richmond, 2 hours away, to go to the opera 3 times. Another teacher, knowing that he couldn't afford a suit to go to the senior prom, loaned Ron his suit and put a $5 bill in the pocket. Ron loved school, and he loved his teachers and loved learning. But when it came time for go to college, he talked to his mom, and she scoffed at him and said, "We don't have any money. We're not going to send you to college. You have to go work in the Navy Yard like your father." Ron was devastated. His homeroom teacher, the power of a perceptive instructor, noticed and asked what was wrong. And he said, "I can't go to college." She said, "Meet me tomorrow morning at Overton's grocery store at 6:30 and don't be late." Ron met the teacher, and she took him into the back of the store. They walked up the steps to the little office, and there was a man sitting there over his ledger. They walked in, little man in a bow tie, and he looked up at Ron and said,
Ron Seichrist, I know who you are, and I'm going to send you to college. But there are 2 conditions. One is you must never get less than a B. And 2, you must someday, sometime in your life, send somebody else's child to college.
Ron was the 27th kid he sent to school, and Ron doesn't know how many after that. Yeah, so 50 years later, we go to Ron's high school reunion. He had never been back since then. And so he asked me, "Hey, do you want to go see where Mr. Overton lived?" So we're sitting in the car outside of his house, just an ordinary brick house, when a car pulls into the driveway. A man gets out, opens the back door, and out steps a very elderly man, very tiny, wearing a bow tie. So we jump out of the car, and we go up there, and Ron sticks out his hand, and he goes, "Hi, Mr. Overton, And before Ron can say anything, Mr. Overton says,
Ron Seichrist, I know who you are. Did you ever make anything of yourself?
We tell the story of Mr. Overton at every graduation and about the importance of giving back. And we ask each graduate to think about, how they will give back. And it's so exciting to see how so many of them are asking us, "Can I please teach at Miami Ad School?" Or they tell us that they're teaching at some other school. They're mentoring, they're giving informational interviews and internships, or even helping out students in need. It's just so incredible to see the way that they're paying it back.
You were going to, at this point, I think, thank them.
Thank the graduates very much. I did. Now it's your turn.
You did? My turn?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now it's your opportunity.
Well, I want to thank the board. This is a tremendous honor. It means a great deal to me. And I think you were very clever. Your timing was good. I'm 86 years old. That's much time. In the meantime, I'm sure that Mr. Overton is dead. It could be in not too long a time that I'll get to see him. And when I do, I'm going to tell him that he too is on this honor roll
For the Hall of
that you
Fame.
guys have.
And he's in the Hall of Fame also.
He's in the Hall of Fame.